Hello Classic Crew, and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be sharing my thoughts 3 months into being a new mom. If you are new to my channel, here we talk about classic living and traditional values, and I would love if you would consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. If you haven't already subscribed to my Substack newsletter, where you'll get access to a ton of exclusive content, including my book club, my podcast, and exclusive weekly articles, make sure to head over to classicallyabbey.substack.com. So I decided to start a series on my channel, kind of sharing my experience as a new mom. I sort of did some updates during my pregnancy, and I thought it would be good to kind of continue that now that I'm a new mom. And I think that there's so much that happens in the first year of being a new mom. So I wanted to share that with you guys, share my experience. And I'm really looking forward to it because I think it'll be good for me to look back on. It'll be nice for me to look back on for my next baby to see, okay, how did it progress? How did I progress as a woman, as a mother, being a new mom? Is there stuff that I can reference when I'm, dealing with another baby and that I don't remember? Can I go back to my old videos? So for my own sake, I think it'll be nice, but also I'd like to be able to share these thoughts with you so that hopefully if you are feeling similarly or you need some advice or anything like that, we can kind of bounce ideas off each other. So make sure to leave a comment down below and let's get into today's video. So I recently wrote an article for my Substack newsletter called The Truth About the Fourth Trimester. And now that I'm through the fourth trimester, I feel like I've learned so much and I'm so much happier. So the fourth trimester is a term that was kind of coined by Dr. Harvey Karp. And the idea is that the baby is attached to the mother in such a way that it's almost like you're pregnant for another 3 months. And the mother is in a whole new stage of life where she's really learning how to cope and to be a new person. I think that's a very accurate description of what the first 3 months of a newborn's life are like. Your baby needs you so much, and the baby is so helpless that you are in it all the time. There's no time to be paying attention to anything else. Like you are just so involved with this little person that there's really not a lot of time for you. And even to kind of take in what this experience is. You're just figuring it out. It can be a really difficult time. And I say that not because I want to make anyone afraid about being a new mom. Actually, I think knowing that you come out the other side is a really helpful thing. It's really difficult when you're in it to recognize that this isn't going to be forever. So, in those first 3 months, you're so sleep deprived, your hormones are going crazy, you have this little person who really doesn't know how to be a person yet, and you just have to help them survive. That is your entire reason for being while this baby is so little. And as the baby gets older, and even like now, my son is 13 weeks when I'm recording this, and he is such a person. Like he knows exactly what he wants, he knows what he needs, he has such a good sense of humor, he's very opinionated. And the idea that it only took 13 weeks for him to get to this point where he's a person is crazy, as opposed to the first couple of weeks where it was like, he doesn't even know that he has to eat. So you have to be the one who's telling him when to feed. That's how you have to deal with a newborn. They're so unaware of themselves as a person that you have to be their mind, their brain for them. And it can be really overwhelming. There's just not a lot of time for you. There's not a lot of time to figure yourself out and to process what's happening. I feel so blessed now that we've come out of that to say that I love being a mom. I love it. I am so happy. And if you are going through a similar struggle right now where you feel like really overwhelmed and it's just not joyful, it will happen for you. On top of just the normal hardships and difficulties of new motherhood, on top of that, my son had reflux and has reflux. He was struggling to gain weight. We had a lot of issues breastfeeding because I had an oversupply, and I really had to work with that. So everything was even more intense. I think that maybe for some moms, when they're dealing with their newborn, you can feed them and put them down and then they sleep all day. My son, it took him a really long time to eat because he would spit up everything and then want to eat more. And then I had to hold him up for like 15 to 30 minutes after he ate so that he wouldn't spit up. And then when I would lie him down, he would spit up. It was very painful to watch him. He was happy. He really was a happy spitter, but he wasn't gaining weight. And every time I had to go into the doctor's office twice a week for a month so that we could do weigh-ins. It was really stressful, and it felt like I couldn't do anything right. So I think that was an extenuating circumstance. But actually, I don't know. Let me know in the comments if the first few months of motherhood were as hard for you as they were for me. Because for me, I don't know if that was a uniquely hard situation or if everyone has a hard situation at the beginning, because it is new and motherhood is a totally new adjustment. I would love to know, because it's hard for me to know. I actually don't. You know, everyone only knows their own experience. So if having a newborn that didn't have reflux was still hard, I think it would make me feel better to know that I wasn't overreacting. So that's something I've been thinking about. But those first few weeks of motherhood, I think it's just so important to know that there is an end point, and that at some point the baby's gonna figure himself out. He's gonna figure out his schedule. He's gonna figure out his routine. You obviously can be helpful with that. I am pretty involved in his routine to help him get down for naps and to feed the right times and all of that. But he is engaged, like he knows what's happening. And that's a really comforting thing as a new mom. I feel like I finally figured out how motherhood looks for me. And it looks like a different reality, but a beautiful one. And that's okay. I think that there's a lot of fear going into motherhood that everything's gonna change, and everything does, but for the best reason. And that is what gets you through. Like, you know why things have changed. I just love being a mom so much, and I feel really grateful that I can say that, because in the first few weeks, I didn't feel this way. I felt like I loved being a mom as an intellectual stance, but from a practical perspective, being in it was really hard. And now I'm like, no, I love it. I love when my son smiles at me. I love when he laughs. Like, he's such an interesting person now. So someone wrote something in the comments of a different video, and I totally agree. If you are not a newborn person, that's okay. You will be a good mom, even if you're not a newborn person. And I know a lot of people who feel that way. Like, the thing about newborn life is that it's sort of like having a puppy. The pictures of the puppy are really cute, but the day-to-day of dealing with a puppy and having to get up in the middle of the night with that puppy and take him outside and go to the bathroom, that's not fun. So it's like the snapshots of puppyhood are fun. But what's really fun is when the puppy is old enough and kind of figured himself out enough to be self-sufficient. Now, your baby's not self-sufficient, but when you first have a newborn, they're so dependent on you that the snapshots are really cute, but the actual experience can be really overwhelming. But I really hope that with my next baby, now knowing that there is an endpoint, just taking it all in and enjoying it and trying to soak it in, I really hope I can do that with my next baby. Because with this one, you're just trying to make it through, man. You're just trying to survive. But with number 2, you kind of have an idea of what you're doing. So I hope that I can just enjoy it. And also not hold it against myself if I don't get anything done for the first 12 weeks. I think I was really, really stressed about trying to be productive in those first 12 weeks. Who cares? Who cares? In those first 12 weeks, like, you're not going to be productive. And if you are, it's a bonus, but it shouldn't be the focus. The focus is holding that baby on your chest and just enjoying that baby. Now, I will also have a toddler, theoretically, when we have our next baby, but so I can't just enjoy the baby on my chest all day, but I can enjoy both my children together by the time we have a number 2. And if the house isn't clean, the house isn't clean. And if we need to order dinner out, that's okay too. Yeah, so I've been thinking a lot about kind of how I hope I can take this knowledge into our next baby, because, you know, that's on my mind a lot. I think that the difference between what a baby is like at 13 weeks and a baby is like at 2 weeks is just so extreme, and it's so much fun. So if you are in the throes of it right now and you are just struggling, know that there will be a point very soon where your baby is just gonna turn into a person and you're gonna have the best time with that baby. It is the best thing ever. So those are my thoughts at 13 weeks after having come out of the 4th trimester. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. If you'd like to follow me on social media, it's at Classically Abby, absolutely everywhere. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!